And now let me introduce our speaker, Ken Spears. Ken Spears is the immediate past club growth director and is well versed in helping officers guide their clubs to distinguish or better. He has attained 2 DTMs and has served as a club officer for many years in Toastmasters. He is a former president's distinguished director, division director, select distinguished area director, and is currently the area director for G1. Ken knows the biggest issues facing clubs is new members and member engagement. He looks forward to offering training that will help address these and other needs of a successful Toastmaster club. Please help me welcome Ken Spears.
Thank you for that great introduction. I'm so excited to do this training today. We have a lot to talk about and not a lot of time. And I want to, first of all, ask this question of everybody. Does everybody here know how to get into Club Central on the Toastmasters website? Does anybody not know how to do that? Just raise your hand. And let Vicky tell us who that is. And then anybody? Does everybody know how to fill out a membership form and enter that member into Club Central? Third question, does everybody know how to certify a path in Pathways Basecamp and in Club Central? Both have to be done. If it's just all those things, I'm a very happy guy. Does anybody have any questions about those items specifically? Vicky, anything? Nothing?
Sorry, is certifying like approving that they
Approving, yeah, same thing. Certifying, approving, same exact thing. You got it.
We'll find out about it.
Wait, I got echo there. What? What?
It's Peg.
It's Peg. Yeah, what was the question, sorry?
I'm sorry, I muted everybody. Let me let them unmute themselves.
Okay, there was somebody had a question. Somebody wanted to know about certifying.
I had a question about certifying. We have a bunch of level 2s and level 1s we haven't certified, but they've completed the training. So that'd be interesting to me.
What do you mean? What do you mean complete the?
They went through level 1, but we haven't certified them, and we haven't got the DCP.
Because no one went into Club Central to in both Pathways Basecamp and in Club Central to certify those.
That's true. Yeah.
So you have to do that.
Our VPE is needs to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, your VP does need to do that. Absolutely. So what I'd like to do is this. I'm going to drop some things in the chat. I'm going to drop in the presentation that talks about how to do all those things. So we don't have to go over it. You can just download it, read it. It's simple. It's easy. What I really want to talk about today is membership, the DCP, and what it takes to be a great leader. I know that many clubs have the struggle of maintaining and getting new members. That is the #1 issue of every club, not just in the Founders District, but throughout all of Toastmasters. Finding members is not easy. I'm going to give you a few ideas and things to do that you can use to help that work. I just spoke with a club yesterday, and we talked about their upcoming open house. #1, have an open house and have one every other month. Have an open house and schedule a great speaker, be it a speaker from Toastmasters or outside of Toastmasters. It doesn't really matter. Just schedule a great speaker. Get a local politician, get a local business leader, get somebody who's interesting. If you know if an astronaut lives in your neighborhood and you know about it, try and get them to come to your club, and you'll get a lot of people interested in doing that, in coming to the club and signing up to be a member and seeing what Toastmasters is all about. That's a great way to do it. That's the first thing. Schedule a great speaker and do it in advance. For instance, these folks, this is January 8th. Their open houses on February 3rd, and they're already in the middle of planning their event. So you have to think in advance what to do. You can't think that, oh, my club, I want to have an open house 2 weeks later and do it. It doesn't really work. You really need to plan in advance. You need time to market it. And that's the key to the whole thing. How are you going to market it? How are you going to let people know that you exist as a club? Because every club is different and every area is different, but there are some commonalities. Absolutely, there are. First commonality is members. Every member in a club touches at least 10 other people every week. And I don't mean like physically touching them, but you have communication or contact with them. Use those 10 people and say to them, Bob, Susan, we have this great Toastmasters group and we have a great person coming in to talk to us. Come join us. Come join us and listen to what they say and find out what Toastmasters is all about. That's the best and most effective way to do it. Invite them to the club. And if they come and they hear and they're really interested, you as a president or vice president at the end of the meeting can invite them to join the club, which means you have to have membership forms ready to go, either virtually or printed. And I will put all this stuff in the chat in a few moments, all these things that you need, because there's a lot of little things, a virtual guest packet, membership forms, all those sort of things that you might want to have. That's number one. Ask people to come to the meeting and do it every week. I myself ask an average of 4 people to 5 people a week to come to a Toastmasters meeting. It seems like a lot. It seems like a lot of work. It takes all of, I don't know, 60 seconds. There's a new group forming in Talega in San Clemente called the Talega Moms Club. I think that's what it's called, or Talega Women's Club. I'm not exactly sure the exact name, but what they're going to call themselves. I invited to that meeting, for yesterday's meeting, I invited 7 people that I know that would be interested in it. Unfortunately, none of them showed up. That was disappointing to me, but I did that. I invited 7 people to go to that meeting, knowing that there would be interest there. The second thing to do is to look in your area where your club is located. Where I live in Laguna Niguel, there's things called the Neighborhood Patch, the Watch, all kinds of different areas that you can post things online to get people to come to a meeting. Use those resources. They're all free. Homeowners Association message boards, they're all out there. You just have to have your vice presidents of PR and your membership people look for them, find them, and just figure out how to post things. It takes all of a minute once you know where to go to do it and post the information. We're having a meeting on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. We have speaker X coming. Do it. The third thing, and it's really helpful too, is what I call guerrilla marketing. Guerrilla marketing for your club is taking a flyer, printing it up, and posting it in the flyer section of a grocery store or a coffee shop. You see in Starbucks, they have message boards with little business cards. Sometimes I don't know if they're still doing that in every one of them, but some still do. Look around, have 10 or 20 of these things printed out. Put a little stack of flyers on a desktop at a dry cleaner near where your club meets. All these things you can do, these guerrilla marketing tactics, really get people interested. And it's the consistency of doing it that really makes it work. It's very consistent. Now, I know that the Founders District that we're all members of is engaged right now in a massive LinkedIn campaign, attempting to get members to join various clubs throughout the district. And it's going slowly. But you as members can also go into your own social media, be it Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all it, Snapchat, whatever, all these things. Go ahead and post things about your meeting every week. And every member should be doing it, not just your PR person. You, the president, need to direct it all because you are the one who delegates the activities of your club and you're the club leader. You need to be aware that all these things are possible. Absolutely. Absolutely possible. There's a million ways to get the word out about membership. And why does membership matter? That's the big question we want to ask ourselves as presidents and vice presidents of a club. Why does membership matter? Number one, it helps the club grow. It helps the club be enthusiastic. It helps the club be energetic. And in the world of Toastmasters, it helps your Distinguished Club program. If you look at the Distinguished Club program, there are certain aspects of that that you need to hit, those certain marks to become a distinguished club. 4 level 1s, 4 level 2s, 2 level 3s, a level 4 and a level 5. If you have new members and they're all starting on their Pathways journey and you add 4, you have 4 level 1s basically done. And those same people could even hit level 2 within a year and you have those level 2s. So there's 3 DCP points right there. That's before you've done your officer training, you've gotten your dues in on time, you've got your list in on time, all those things. And you have to do as a club president and make sure that things are done to get your DCP points, because we want every club to be distinguished or better. The stronger your club, the better member retention there is. When there's new people coming in, there's excitement. Older members are going to be excited to hear these new stories, meet new people. It feeds on itself. It's an organism that just grows and grows. It's a beautiful thing. So membership is the key, in my opinion, to everything Toastmasters. And I've been saying this for not just now, I've been saying this for a number of years. Membership is the key to everything. When you have members coming into the club, the DCP almost takes care of itself because the DCP is directly related to membership growth. Club retention takes care of itself because people are excited, enthused, and older members want to become mentors. If you're a vice president of education, one of your jobs is to be assigning a mentor to new club members and to current club members to be mentors to help members progress. These are things that have to happen. And it's very, very important that they happen. So when you think about membership, think on every single level you can possibly imagine, and then think about the unimaginable. Go so far outside of the box that it seems almost absurd. And I guarantee you're going to get results. But as presidents and vice presidents, you must make sure that all of your executive team are on board and doing this, and you're doing it consistently. You cannot do it just for one event. Not at all. Another great thing that's coming up in the next month and a half, 2 months, are club contests for the speech contest. Preparing your club members to go on to either an area or beyond as a winner. Club contests are a great thing to publicize to the general public. Have them come to your club and see these people speak at the club contest. International and humorous speeches are fantastic. They're inspirational and or funny in this case this year. What a great way to showcase what Toastmasters has to offer. Not only do the club members, of course, get to step outside of their club environment, so to speak, to become better speakers, but they showcase what Toastmasters is all about. And that's a really important part of what happens. Use the club contest as a way to go. The third thing to do is this. I said this before, open house every other month. Use the club contest and then just schedule a guest speaker for the months where you don't have an open house. Always schedule something at least once a month, special that's different. Something that really will shake people up and make people pay attention and keep them coming back. Get somebody who's an expert in textiles to come in and talk about the latest trends in fabric and clothing, or somebody who's involved in hybrid automobiles. Our program quality director, Julie Murphy, she works at Hyundai or Kia, one of those two, I forget which one it is. She knows all about cars, new cars, things that are coming out. Have her come talk about that. My gosh, I mean, there's so many people out there that know a lot of things that we can use as Toastmasters to help elevate the club. Does anybody have any thoughts on this? Questions? Am I crazy? Am I not? I don't know. So my thought is definitely let's think outside the box. Let's make sure that we're working on membership as our number one priority. You cannot be a distinguished club unless you have the appropriate number of members. If your base of the beginning of the year in July was 13, you must finish the year with 18 members in June of this coming year. 5+ base, or if you had 20 members to start with, you must end the year with 20 members or more. That's how it works. It really does how it works. So please think about how to make all that happen. That's the first thing. And then I wanted to talk to everybody else about something I think is really much more important than all the things that we're talking about. I mean, these are all Toastmastery things. We're advanced presidents, we're vice presidents. We've been in the trenches. We've sampled the mustard gas, and now we're ready to charge up over the hill. What does that mean to you as a leader? And that is the question I'm going to ask everybody today. What makes a good leader? And I want to go through a few ideas here for you. Number one, a good leader, and you all are leaders in your clubs. You have to have vision for your club, vision that says our club is going to become distinguished or better because we have the will and the desire to do it. You can only do it if everybody's on board and everybody buys into your vision that that's what it is. A vision is not saying we need to do X. X is not it. The vision is we will be X. Not how to do it, but what you want it to be. That's your vision. And how you get there is, of course, the mechanics of making that vision a reality. So each club has its own vision of what it wants to be as a club, what it wants to be for their members, how are they going to make their members embrace Toastmasters and what Toastmasters has to offer, which is, yes, learning how to speak in public, yes, how to be a better communicator, but most importantly, the skills and the confidence to conquer the world. That's what Toastmasters offers everybody. And that's the whole vision of Toastmasters. It's all the other things are steps towards building up to that confidence. Because once you have that confidence, you can conquer the world. That's absolutely true. The second thing a leader has besides the vision is empathy. You have to be able to empathize with your members, your club members. Make sure that you understand where they're all coming from. Everybody has their own different points of view, their own different struggles, challenges, and work with them to make sure that they're getting the most out of their Toastmasters experience. And this really falls to you, Mr. and Mrs. Vice President of Education, because you should be assigning every member a club mentor. Somebody in the club who's been there, who has some experience. You should be making sure that those club members have a mentor to help guide them through the process. Absolutely. The third thing, and this is one of the most important parts of it all, is listening. You as club leaders need to listen to your members and see what they want and make sure that what they want matches your vision and make it all come together. It sounds daunting, doesn't it? It sounds really difficult, but it's not difficult. It's not hard to do this. You just have to listen. In my personal experience in Toastmasters, I go around different clubs. I visit a lot of clubs. I listen to what people want. And I know that the one thing that everybody wants, of course, are more members and better member retention. And when we talk about member retention, we're talking about making sure that members stay involved, engaged, and helping a club. And to do that, there are many tips and tricks such as reverse meetings, making sure people are assigned roles early, assigning roles for a club meeting 1 and 2 months out so everyone knows what they're doing and they have some accountability to the club. And if they don't meet their obligations, making sure that those members find somebody to fill in that role for them. Because you as a club president or vice president of education do not want to take on that role. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that the members are self-fulfilling in the sense that they are going on and doing what they should be doing for their club. What makes it important here too is that they are then buying into the club and making it their own. Every club is its own family, its own environment. I said that before, but I'll emphasize that again. No two clubs are alike. It's the way that it can be done. So That is a thought process that just runs through my head. Now, a leader also has to be a problem solver, and you cannot be shy about solving problems. If there are members who are not attending meetings, there are members who are drifting off during a meeting, it's good to take them aside and have a little chat with them and find out what's going on. What do they want to get out of their Toastmasters experience? Everybody wants something a little bit different. One person may want to learn how to be a better speaker so they can give a toast at a wedding. Another person may want to be a better speaker and communicator so they can get a raise at their job. A third person may want to be a better leader so they can run a PTA meeting. You never know what it is. You need to find out from each individual. That goes back to the listening part. It goes back to the empathy part. And if they're having problems in the club, either coming to a meeting or drifting off during a meeting, take them aside, Mr. President or Madam Vice President or whoever you are in whichever role, and talk to them. Have a little one-to-one conversation. And people would appreciate the attention and the fact that you're actually noticing that they need some help, and you're there to help them because you're the leader of the clubs. You're the leaders. Absolutely. We've talked about vision. We've talked about listening. What happens here too is confidence. Everybody who is a leader has to be confident. You can't be wishy-washy. I've done some Sergeant at Arms training, and I always tell the Sergeant at Arms at the beginning of a meeting, what you should always do is this. And now, direct from the Himalayas, our president, Susan. It builds up the confidence level. Make sure that everybody has confidence in what they're doing and confidence in what you're doing. And even if you don't have confidence, find it within yourself to have that confidence that you know what you're doing. You've been in Toastmasters a while. You've been in this office a while. You understand the mechanics, hopefully. And if you don't, I'm going to put it aside here. If you don't understand the mechanics, I am more than happy to talk to whoever wants help after this to help them with their mechanics and the Club Central or Pathways, Basecamp, whatever it is that you may need help with. I am very familiar with all of that and happy to help. And there are others within the community that are happy to help as well. Don't be afraid to ask for help. A good leader asks for help. You can't do it on your own. You cannot do it on your own because you're confident. Hopefully you're organized and you have some influence on what the club is doing. You take all those things together and you as a club leader then delegate. And I want to emphasize this delegate part, really important part of this. You cannot do it all on your own. You cannot do it all on your own. I'm the president of a club right now, and unfortunately, I'm also its vice president of education. I'm not happy about the situation, but that's just what happened this year. We are all struggling in this COVID/post-COVID rebuilding time to get our clubs back on their feet via membership and everything else. We have to take on sometimes 2 or 3 hats, but we need to be able to delegate. Each of you have an executive team, a vice president of membership, a vice president of public relations, a secretary, a treasurer, a sergeant at arms, maybe even a tech master if you're going hybrid. All these people are part of your executive team, and you need to delegate certain aspects of a club meeting, marketing, education, things that go on to these people. You need to make sure that you delegate. As a club officer, high-ranking club officer, delegate, but make sure you check in with those people and make that they're doing what they want, what you want, that they're following the vision, and then they have a clear path, and then they understand how to reach and get to that vision level. It sounds like a lot, but it's not. And the best way to do it is to sit down with somebody over a cup of coffee, or maybe a gin fizz or something. I don't know, whatever makes you happy or whatever makes them happy, and just have a conversation. And you'll find out so much more than you would ever imagined about these people. You'll find out about them, their background. They have other skills and talents, things that you don't know about that you can help use to make the club even stronger. And what does it mean for everybody else in the club that you're doing all these things? You have this vision, you're delegating, you're influencing how the club is running, you're doing all these things. Well, that is going to inspire people to do better, to give better speeches, to be better in their roles as a Toastmaster or as a grammarian or an odd counter, whatever it is that they're doing. You want to inspire people to do the best that they can do in each and every one of these roles, to be good listeners and great communicators. That's what it is. That's what it is to be a president and a vice president of education. And that's why we call this advanced training, because we don't want to go over all the mechanics because we've done all that. We want to make sure that you are the best leaders you can be. It's about leadership. Toastmasters says this is where leaders are made, and this is where leaders are made. You stand up in front of the group every week and you're the leaders, and you're becoming stronger and more confident. Leadership makes you a better speaker. I've said that before numerous times. You have to be up there every week to talk, to speak, to do the things that you need to do. Leadership makes you a much better speaker. It teaches you how to be the best that you can be, and it teaches others that by example that they can be just like you, just like they want to see themselves to be. Everyone has a vision of somebody else that they admire, that they really think is going to be fantastic. And that's that leadership thing that goes on. And here's the secret sauce. Let others fail occasionally, because when they fail at a task, they're learning. Because failure is not failure. Failure is just learning, and you learn from mistakes. Don't let somebody's mistakes hold things back. Say to the person, Bob, you could have done better if you'd done this. And then they can say, this is a great learning opportunity. It's just like having an evaluation, in a speech evaluation, to learn constructively and positively how to be a better communicator, or how to be a better leader, or to do a job in a club more efficiently. The last thing I want to talk about in the leadership part of this is you need to look for a successor. You should always be looking for the next person to step into your role as a vice president of education, which is a tough role. I've done it many times. And as a president, also a tough role. Not as tough as vice president of education, I believe. But more importantly, look for that successor. Look for that person who's going to take the reins of the club and make it successful. I've seen a few clubs that did not really work on their succession plan and work on grooming 2 or 3 members to take over. As a result, those clubs are now having serious issues because their leadership and the people who are in those leadership positions are not really prepared or groomed, so to speak, to take over that role. And it's really important to work with somebody, have them shadow you. Someone says to you, oh, I'd like to be president next year. Make them your assistant right away and have them start working on things. Delegate a few items to them that you need to have done within the club. Make them the head of the club speech contest, for instance. Whatever it is that you need to do, that's what you should do. That's how it worked for me. As a matter of fact, I was delegated to be the head of my speech contest my 4th week as a Toastmaster for my club, San Clemente Toastmasters. And that was when the club had, what do we have, like 44 people, a bunch of speakers. It was crazy. And I didn't even know what was going on half the time. But I muddled through it. I did it. And lo and behold, a year later, I was the club vice president of education. 6 months later, I was the vice president of education. And then 6 months after that, I became the club president. It just happens that way. Delegate it. Make sure you find those people who are really enthusiastic and let that enthusiasm permeate through the club. Club retention, member retention is going to happen. Membership growth is going to happen. Things are going to happen because you're the leader and you're going to make it happen. Don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to make your club meetings a little bit different. Change it up every once in a while. The reverse meeting, all table topics, whatever it is. And all this applies to both being on Zoom and being in person. It really doesn't matter, that part of it. You just need to do these things. I just think that that's the essence of being a leader and being an advanced president is to be the visionary, the person who delegates, and the person who sees that the things get done and makes their club culture thrive. That's your role. That's your job. Pretty easy? No. Fun? Absolutely. Rewarding? Unbelievably rewarding. You're going to find that you've got a great sense of satisfaction for knowing that you've helped people achieve what they wanted to achieve in their Toastmasters journey. Absolutely.